So I think so what Kiru mentioned about the books, like for me, the books are the first resource of getting new ideas. And Kiru definitely talked about, and I just finished listening to Jack Schwager just before our recording, because listening to Jack is like, listening to Market Wizard again and again and again. And most importantly, I use books when I'm in drawdowns, because that's when you need a motivation, right? There
Then
some
we
people
have
are
to read
externally
books.
motivated. Yeah.
Then we have to read books all the time, and because we are in drawdown all the time, maybe
All
probably
the time.
probably 5 or 6 times we eat a all time high and we get back to drawdown.
So I used to tell, like, when we develop this option buying strategy, and we are in a hell of a big drawdown right now. Like, I've never seen such a kind of a big drawdown, but that's what we call it. We need to be like fish. We need to be underwater all the time. We'll just come up, drink for a second, and then again go into water and just be in the drawdown for like 3 months, 6 months, and then again come once in a while and then go in. So we are like fish, right? We need to be
Very
underwater
true.
all the time. So, but why I talk about is, when you read these books, okay, by Jack Schwager, it will not give you strategies, okay, but it will open up ideas for you. I'll give you one example. How did it help me? And it made me money. Okay, since we are talking about how do I generate ideas, right? So there was one trader. I think it was on Market Wizard or the New Market Wizard, and I have read all of them. I have all in my library. Okay, so he said, okay, there was a plywood trade that he did phenomenally well. So what happened was, government came out with an kind of announcement that there is a shortage of plywood, and people, you know can buy at till $1 or something like that, okay, per whatever their unit was. And it was a no brainer trade for them, that when price reaches $1, everybody will short plywood, okay. And then the prices would come down because the government has put a freeze. It was not like our circuit that we have, right? It was an open outcry system at that point of time. So every time $1 comes, everybody knows that government is not going to allow it to go up. So they started shorting it up. So that trader, that hedge fund trader, really did this trade for 3 4 times and made good money, because it was no brainer trade. $1 short, cover it back when it comes down. And then all of a sudden, one day, the plywood started trading at 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. Now he started questioning this, that, if government is announced that there is prices cannot go above $1, why the prices are still being traded, okay, at $1, 2 cents, 3 cents, 4 cents? That means people are now not worried about government, because there is the shortage is so much that they will do anything to just get the plywood. And he bought huge quantity of the plywoods, okay. And the next day in the evening, government announced, okay, the new ceiling will be higher, like $2 or $3, whatever. What would happen to the prices next day? Imagine, right? Zap zap zap. It's like $2 now, traded at $2. Now this
That
was
is
the
why we should never wait for the newsman. So see, that is the price reacted first and news came later. So if you have to wait for the confirmation of news, obviously we would have lost the opportunity. You can't wait for confirmation and again wait for the opportunity. That was a
and
good move, because most of our traders, we also always wait for something to look upon before we take a trade. We'll check what is the news behind it, and unless and until you get the news, people will not react to it. They'll wait for it.
हम हिंदी we say it bhav bhagwan che in Gujarati, right? Remember that pride is the god. So that's what we so what this guy, so when I read that, okay, Shkiru, and you are very right, price always reacts, because there is people who are very close to the market. They know much better than us as an outsider, right? And I was reading this and I said, okay, it's a good story, but how do I generate into a trade idea? And that time, obviously, now this is not the right stock right now, but at that point of, I remember Jet Airways, okay, was trading at about 130 rupees or 140 rupees odd. Way back, I'm talking about. And Jet Airways went on strike. The staff went on to a strike. And I said, okay, it's a bet for the company, because airline, one of the, that time, Jet was the primary, like the own big one in the market. And I said, okay, the biggest airline, the staff is going on the strike. The price reacted somewhere around from 130 to 126. Okay. And I said, okay. Next day, the strike continued. It went to 125, 124. Well, that's perfectly fine, because the news are coming, the strike is prolonging and everything. And then all of a sudden, after 4 or 5 days, the prices stopped going down. Okay, it was like trading at 123, 124, 123, 124. And then I started realizing this story that if even in the bad news, the stock is not going down, this is the biggest airline in India, they will come to a compro. So I started buying Jet Airways stock at 124, 125, or whatever. I don't remember exact numbers, but I remember the scene perfectly well. At 120, 30 on 11th or 12th day, okay, they said, okay, we are going to call off the strike. What do you think would have happened to the prices?
It should have moved up like anything.
It did not. Okay, Kiru. It
Ah,
moved from
why?
130 to 132. I'll tell you. Okay, 130 to 132, and again back to 130. And I said, shit. My trade went berserk. Like it didn't work out. Next day it was 140. The third day it was 170. Okay. So there was
Okay,
also a lesson because when the news was out, everybody jumped on it. So market never
right,
moved on that. And after
right, right.
2 3 days, we have a very short-term memory as a trader. If the news doesn't work out in the next day, we just jump out, right? And that's what the
True.
big player use that as an information. Like on the announcement day, they dumped all whatever they had at 123, 124 at 130, and once everybody forgot about it, they started buying it back again. So this is, this kind of books really opens up. I'm again advising you not to get. You will not get what do you say, like strategies, but you will get ideas, and that was the full concept of this session that me and Kiru are doing. Like you have to open up your mind. There are so much of things to do here. Like this guy in Unknown Market Wizard, they only trade on news. Like there are 3 or 4 traders that I've read about, only news. And I was like, dude, how can you read on news and you need to be like a butterfinger on your thing? But they make millions of dollars. Okay, so that's what I would another guy that I highly recommend of reading is Larry Connors, because they talk about quantifiable strategies. That's the most important thing. Like as I told in the many webinars, that as a system trader, we are the casino owner, we are not the casino goer, because we have to play with a marginal edge. Like our edge will be 1% or 2%. And when I read these books, what Larry Connors and the team, Cesar was part of this team, and there is a guy called Matt Redke. I have actually hired him to do my ME broker coding also many times. The edge is like 49-51, like 2% edge. But as a systematic trader, you need to keep on doing this to get your alpha, because you are not predicting the market. You are not a discretionary trader where you either will get it very right or either you will get it very wrong. For us, it is like we are right, we'll make some money. If we are wrong, we'll lose some money. But we keep on doing again and again. That's what really emphasized on this different books that I have highlighted on. As Kiru also read a lot of books, but I definitely tried reading a lot of white papers and research paper, and I could not figure out, being a science student, integration sign, derivatives. And I said, dude, I cannot, because when you told me SSRN, and I was like, I tried reading it, but I could not. So everyone has their own style. So I kind of use this guy, easylanguagemastery.com blog. I highly recommend. Very technical in terms of, when I say technical, analysis oriented, like how the moving averages, RSIs of the worlds kind of put up. But it talks about more of quantifiable. Again, he puts out strategies that are not flamboyantly profitable, but at least it gives you a concept, and you can take those concept, and maybe in your existing strategy you can add one of the filter which can help you. I definitely, although it is like highly underrated blog, I will tell you honestly, Kiran, I've been big advocate of your blog everywhere. Where even in Market Scanner, I've written a blog about it, right?
Yeah,
Because I think so. You kind of come out with a lot of context which is Indian in nature, and that's the most important thing. Because when I started out my systematic journey, I think so. Your blog was the one I used to keep out every time, because in your trading journey, you never know when you switch your heads. Okay, what do I mean by that? I may started as an intraday trader, and you have written an article on the investment. I have no relevant it right now, but in my trading journey, I would have moved from an intraday trader to a swing trader to maybe an investor. Now that article is definitely going to be helpful to me right now. So I always advocate people to go back to those same good things again and again, which helps you to understand about what other people are thinking and where do you generate your ideas. And I've honestly, I've got like phenomenal ideas from your blog. Obviously, I have my team also churning out a lot of numbers. That also kind of really puts out like what is the volatility, the range of the bank nifty on a certain period of time of the day of the week, because Larry Williams does a lot of works on the day of the week and a month of the year. And I have seen, okay, trust me, there is a website called as Seasonality, Season X karke. They are doing phenomenally well to figure out in which month to which month. Even on stocks, there is a seasonality. Like there is a company called Kaveri Seed, has never lost money in last 12 years. Between I think so October to something, is in 12 years they have never lost money, because it's like shrimp that get whatever produced at that point of time, and they are exporters of those, and these are the times their earnings really comes up well. So there is seasonality on everything, because when you are selling a product there is seasonality. So that we will do some session in the future on the seasonality side of this stuff also. And the
Sure,
ones
sure,
that
man.
I and that's what we talked about, Alvarez con trading, I really refer to his website all the time. Another thing that I get most of my ideas is through market observations. I think so Madan and a lot of people have talked, even you talked about it. You have to watch the chart to get the ideas. Okay, because when you watch a great player, you know that he will going to turn out to be a great player. So over a period of time, when you look for the biggest winner for the day, so at the end of the day, what do? I sort on the highest to lowest and try to see the charts of the stocks which has moved the most. And invariably, I find some of the patterns, like they must have gapped up, okay, above previous day high. Their first 15-minute volume were greater than the first 15-minute volume of the last 10 days of first 15-minute volume. So when you start looking at those charts, you have certain framework in your mind, and you start to fit those stocks in that frame of mind. And that's where I see that you need to figure out, like, just looking at the chart every day and every week, every month, you will get certain intuition. Okay, this maybe let me just build strategies around it, like volume breakout, price breakout, like a super trend. So something like this really helps you to generate new ideas. Even your personal trade teaches you what works. Okay, I'll give you a simple example. I bought, and this is not kidding, and I put it out on like in 2008, just before the
Okay.
2008, I would remember, I turned my 25,000 rupees into 12 and a half lakh rupee. Okay, and you would not
Oh,
believe it. Okay, and I have,
25,000 into 12 and a half lakhs.
yep, I'll just show you, because
And
this
that's
is, I'll show you. And it was pure luck. Okay, but it taught me something. It taught me something about what I became over a period of time. Okay, this was the period I told you about, 2006 7. Yeah, this was the time. Let me just remove everything. This was the stock which was called as a Jai Cop at that point of time. Okay,
okay.
so the stock. Let
From
me just
which
put.
rupees it went to
Yeah,
1,500, man? Oh my
that's
God.
what I'm going to
What
tell
stock
you
was that?
that. Yeah. Okay, from almost 27, it is X split bonus. It had like 10 rupees split, and then they gave 1:1 bonus and everything. It went up by 5,250%. Okay,
Oh my God.
and I
And
bought
that
few
was
on.
within how many
So it
years?
was not even years, I would say, like 2 years. Okay,
Okay,
but I never
okay.
get out on the top. I'll be very honest. I went out somewhere around here because the stock started tanking. But it taught me one thing as a trader, that this stock was trading at an all-time high. Okay, and if I want to really find a multi-bagger will be always be in the all-time high stocks. uh, 25 rupees cannot become whatever 1,400 rupees by making an all-time low. It has to make an all-time high, right? So that's
Right,
where
right, right.
I kind of started building my hypothesis. One of the stock that I've been constantly, I've been doing few shows and in my portfolio as well. It's CDSL, no brainer, right? It's just making all-time high all the time. So if I come here, okay, this was the time that it hit a all-time high at 480. Now it is trading at what? Almost 1,400.
Um,
So my
Right,
point I'm
right.
trying to make say is your trades will also teaches you. Your biggest winner will also give you a lot of ideas. How do you generate new ideas? Yeah, Kiru.
Very true, man. Very true. Biggest losers, and even know if something that you have lost so much within a short span of time, that will give you know even much more lessons that you will never ever repeat that mistakes again. Probably we should do a podcast on know what was the
I
biggest
wish
loss in our career.
I should do that, boss. I have been a victim of this particular stock. Okay, I will never forget where I actually lost whatever I earned in just matter
What
of
is the
like
stock,
one
man? Bedmutra
bad
Industries. I
Musa. It
never
was a
even heard
bad.
of.
Did all the kind of stuff in the past. Okay, did all the kind of stuff. But like 200 rupees to almost 16 rupees. Okay, did all those kind of stuff. But yeah, you rightly. We should do a webinar on what is my biggest winner and what is my biggest loser and what were my learnings from it.
Right.
Now coming to the observation, looking at Twitter and learning from a screenshot as well. I remember Shakti, okay, putting out a lot of trades. So I would try to figure out like how can he come out with such a brilliant like stocks. And then you go on those stocks and look at those stocks and characteristics of those stocks. Every day I used to do that. So if I can do not in reverse engineering, but at least I find out the characteristics, what were the stocks characteristic before they make a move. So market observation, that's what I wanted to do. Another thing, like I just did a webinar with Vivek Bajaj on eLearn, and there was an observation that I did, and this strategy was completely on observation. Okay, market observation, that all out of the money becomes zero, right? On the expiry, all the market observation, all the out of the money option is zero. So expiry or near the expiry, what I have to figure out, that where the Nifty or Bank Nifty will not close. I don't have to predict where it will go, and I have to just predict where it will not go. What helped me was like when I looked at the super trend, okay, and it is a 3 standard deviation, it usually will be away from it. So there was a price reference that I got, that prices will not try to reach here. So I got my reference, okay, there's an observation that price will not reach 36,300. And based on that, I started selling those kind of options. So again, market observation, the complete strategy was built on market observation. Another thing that I can,
That
sorry.
we should go back to that
Yeah.
screenshot. Yeah, see, in this, as per the super trend, it is a kind of a trend following strategy. So even looking at this chart, it can give you an idea. Say suppose someone wanted to do a selling on options, like as you said, for super trend this line is going to be a stop loss, which means that no as long as market trends up, this is not going to close below this line. So people obviously wanted to know get started with an ATM option short selling. Say suppose they
Mm,
wanted to get started at 35,000. As
right.
slowly the market moves up, they can close that leg and again initiate. No, like they can try keep trailing with the whatever the leg that is going to get shorted. Like from ATM 335,000, they can move to 35,300 or 400. They can keep no shorting it. And the moment if the market reverses and closes below the super trend, we just have to cover it up.
Cover it up. Yeah.
That is a valid point. So as you say, no, that is this is one of a strategy that you run with a disciplined trader, right? One
Yes.
simple
Yes.
or one of a strategy which you where you short based on the super trend, and then you add this martingale towards it and tries to increase the odds.
That is correct, Kiru. So that's what
Right.
we have been doing, and it has been successful. And it adds the layer. But as you rightly mentioned, see the market observation plays out, right? You said, okay, I will short at 35,500, but as the market moves in your favor, you can roll over to get more premium. You
Right.
can book profit. Obviously, it
Right.
will come with a risk. There is no free lunch. But again, this turned into an observation. Now, based on this observation, you will code in the backtesting engine, and then you run it whether if I would have done this, whether would I have made money. And trust me, about 80% of the time, our market observations are incorrect. Like we just keep on scrapping the strategy left and right and center. And I remember we had this discussion many times that we woke our wives in the middle of the night and told them that let's pack our bags. We are going to be the richest guy in the world, and then we find out there is a small bug.
Yeah, man. With addition, subtraction, and that too when dealing with Excel, there's multiple things like you will mess up, and eventually you're like, oh my god, this is generating so much of profits. And again, as usual, I'll name it as life-changing strategy version one, version two. I have so much of life-changing strategy. I mean,
Right.
and eventually, you'll know, okay, if there is going to be an exorbitant or great result, first thing my wife says, you have messed up. That is going to be a wrong strategy. Go and check your code once again. That is what the first thing she'll say. And she'll be always right. If it is generating extraordinary results, obviously I would have messed up somewhere. And then all the dreams vanishes in seconds. That
I may
happens.
get trolled for this, but Kiru, in life and even in trading, wife is always right.
Very true.
Okay, so this is how things, like, on the market observation. Another observation I just talked about, like, CDSL went from like 485 to whatever it has gone up. And we were looking at fundamentals. I read this book called as Market Wizard, and he came out with this concept. There is a guy called William O'Neill, and he talked about when the earning per share of the company is rising and the company is hitting a new high, there is something happening. So you need to keep an tab on it. So when by reading a book also you can generate ideas. That's what my point is. Like, systematic rules. I'm not talking about like there is a discretion involved, but there are still rules. You are just not buying on fancies of someone's tip. All right. So I know the CDSL from June onwards started showing
Wow.
increase in earning per share, and they are also supported by sales. Even if they don't do sales, then there is a problem. Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
So this tells what people know doing working from home. They are not actually working for the company. They are actually doing trading and helping CDSL to increase the sales. This
So
is phenomenal, man. So the price is also increasing, and that is already supported by the earning per share and sales per
earning,
year.
yes. So
Right.
that's really tells you that there is something coming up. So you may want to dig more into it. Okay. Why, like, people would buy it? See, up till this point of time, CDL was still a good stock, but I would say June onwards, and usually the real cuts came from December. And if you see, the new high was formed somewhere around August, September, and a December where it started breaking out. So everybody started realizing that everybody's trading now. Zerodha came out with a tweet that they had the highest number of account opening. Fires came out with saying that they have to hire more people just to adjust LLU. So many people have been, like, benefited from it. And CDSL was the one who has a strategy towards the discount broker, not to the full retail side. So this is what, we want to really, really focus on, like, observation, market observation. Okay. I talk to you all the time. Okay, in terms of, like, I remember we discussing about idea about, when I read something on the small kids like all weather portfolio, and then we discussed something and then something came up. Then we talked about the
Right.
ETF rebalancing. We talked about so many other stuff that we keep on doing all the time. So how do you generate your ideas? Is talk to people. When you talk to people, you will realize that sometimes they are, even the loss making trades are a lesson to you. Okay, and you can build systems around it. Like, once he says, okay, I bought something at 120. Like, I'll give you an example. One of the system, were going through a streak of losses, and somebody said, okay, I'm going through a streak of losses, and they said, okay, why don't you make an NT of that strategy? Obviously it didn't work out, but at least it gave you an idea. Okay, what if I would have done exact opposite of it? Okay, if it's saying I'm making, say, 10, 12 losses consecutively, even in our option buying strategy we had 14 consecutive losses, not one time, two time, but three times. Okay, so the point we are trying to say, speak to people, and then you will realize over a period of time that you can build strategies on people's conversation as well. Okay, and although a lot of people say that don't go to this, you will never make money going at convention. Okay, it is not a marketing for a convention or anything, but I have got a lot of good ideas by talking to people, because trading is a very lonely business. Okay, and I was just watching one Hindi movie called Stree. Okay, where a woman haunts the man. Okay, and one guy says very important thing, that even I'll tell you about two things which is very, very relevant right now. Okay, um, he says never go alone as a man, because that witch was lifting man. So the guy says never be a lion, be a wolf. And what do you mean by that? Okay, never go alone, go in a herd, so there is high chance that you will survive. Similarly, I was watching a series in Netflix after you made me addicted to Netflix and all the stuff. The Queen's Gambit. Okay, so there was this American girl who is fighting. okay, against Russian grandmaster. And there was a American grandmaster who was teaching that girl to beat the Russian guy. And he said very one important thing, Kiru, that you know why Soviets are so good with the chess tournament and nobody can beat them into chess tournament, because they actually play as a team. Okay, they
Okay.
don't play as an individual person because I am the grandmaster. Okay, and in that last episode, the girl was playing chess against the like second rank grandmaster. And in the night, when she was walking in the hotel, she could see about three grandmasters of Russia talking to each other and like, okay, what she has been doing and what all
Oh,
moves you can do to beat her. So it was more
oh,
of a communist kind of a
right,
environment. Okay.
right, right.
Similarly, when you go to this trading convention, we are an individualistic person. We have our philosophy as in one person. But when you meet so many different peoples doing so many different stuff, you get a lot of new ideas. Okay. Some of my new ideas has come from this trading related convention where I'm staying there for 2 3 days, talking to them day in, day out about trading. So it is personal choice. Yeah. They are exorbitantly expensive. You don't learn anything. But it is like this. I read a book called as You Can Win by Shiv Khera. And he says, when you dig for gold, okay, you don't think about dirt, right? People actually dig for dirt and find the dirt. Similarly, when you go to convention, I'm not here going for an idea or like strategy. I'm going for ideas, talking to people. And that's what I really wanted to put it out very openly, that, it's up to you what you want to really figure out. Okay, so based on this is my observation about how you
Excellent,
generate
excellent.
new ideas.
This is great, great insights that you have shared. We shall so adding to whatever things or links that is being useful. You also shared some of the important insights that with respect to markets, like market observation plays a vital role, in everyone's career, and that too sharing your own trading journals like what you did in 2006 and 7 and those Jetta-based trades and everything is very, very insightful, man. It would definitely help traders, and mostly like when people say will trading strategies stop working or we have to keep fine tuning and all those things, why I don't agree is human behavior never changes. It's always the same, starting from tulip scam to all to till this date. So there will always be bubble. There will also 2000 in early 2000 we have dot-com bubble, and again 2008 we have global financial crisis. So everything is built completely based on this greed and fear
Greed and
factor.
fear.
So and the people who wanted to have trading ideas, read more about behavioral finance, like how people behave with respect to different environments, and probably we can develop strategies on those terms also.
No, no, I think so.
So
And I really liked your approach also, Kiru, when you talked about reading the white papers, because although that is my shortcoming, I'm trying to overcome on it. But white papers are quantifiable ways that they have already put out and told you that there is a strategy out there. Obviously, you may need to tweak it to, make it to your psychology. But like, the blogs and everything, that really helps us a lot. So, and thank you most importantly for your square of blog. I'm again repeating again on the this thing because it
thanks,
has helped
thanks.
me a lot.
Sure, sure. Thanks, man. And like as I said, we have tons and tons of informations. The only thing is we have to segregate which is good, which is bad. So
But
no,
yeah.
as you said, there will always be certain dirts and there is always be certain junks. But still, only when you pass on into those junks, and you will find some good gems.
Some good
So it's
gems.
so we have to keep exploring. So if you wanted to have multiple trading strategies, keep exploring all these different resources, and there is no plain vanilla strategies out
Hmm.
there. We have to figure out those basic
Hmm.
items which they have discussed, and probably we can fine tune it or tweak it and change it accordingly and develop our own strategies.
Sure.
So
Perfect.
this is it, and thank you so much for your time,
Thank
Vishal.
you, thank you, thank you for your time as well, and thank you, viewers, for watching this show.